Day 16. Today we're going to do a spine-focused practice. So we'll go ahead and come into all fours. You can also modify this by sort of following along from a seated chair position with your hands on your knees if the knee work is not good for you. Otherwise, make sure you've got plenty of padding. We'll come to all fours, and just to warm up the wrists first, have some support at your front body, and we're just going to lift up to the fingertips and slow motion bring the palms back down, and just do that a few times so we're really waking up support around the wrist joint. And then if your wrists get fatigued, you also can switch onto the knuckles. Okay, so from here, rock your hips back, spread your fingertips out wide, and really bring some weight into the pads of your fingertips. And then hands heavy, shins heavy, round your back to the ceiling. And really try to accentuate tucking your tailbone under, rounding your back body. Maybe see if you can make your hands and shins a little heavier and open up any spot that isn't opening for you. And then come into your full back bend, dropping your belly towards the floor. Melt your shoulder blades together and let your breastbone move forward, and take a couple rounds of breath like that, pulling your knees and hands towards each other, melting your shoulder blades away from your earlobes and together to help your breastbone come forward. Good. Okay, and then round your back to the ceiling. Tuck your tailbone under. Lift into your back body. And then coming into your back bend, melt your shoulder blades together. From here, we'll keep our shoulder blades squeezed together and see if you can just move your pelvis and lower back. So tucking your tailbone and rounding your lower back into spinal flexion, and then reversing back out of that. And just seeing if you can make this a wave-like motion, breaking the spine up into two sections for this exercise. One more of those. Good. And then rocking your hips back towards your heels. You can be on hands or the elbows, trying to reach the breastbone forward. And then trying to round your upper back. So we've locked the pelvis in place because we've come into a kind of a deep flexion in the pelvis. Go a couple rounds at your pace, trying to maintain that wave-like quality. You're really pushing the hands down to round into your upper back, and then pulling the hands towards you to bring the breastbone forward into a back bend. And just see how much range of motion you got here. Good. And then we'll walk the hands a little further forward. From here, lift front ribs to back ribs and slide your right arm under your left armpit and go for a rotation. And maybe your head can rest on the floor. Take a couple rounds of breath here. Really breathing, expanding into the back body. Feeling your right shoulder blade wide. Good. And then we'll reverse. Right hand forward, left arm threads under. Maybe your head can rest on the floor again, and you take a couple rounds of breath here on this side. Good. Okay. Come up to downward facing dog as you come through center. Spread your toes, reach your hips up and away. And then walk your hands all the way back towards your feet. Bend your knees a lot and tuck your tailbone towards the floor. If it's okay for your spine, round up bone by bone. So kind of like we were just doing, but now getting all the way into an upright position. And as you come up, you can sweep the arms up overhead. And then exhale, you tuck your chin as your arms dangle towards the floor, and you just round back down, bone by bone, knees soft. Try to keep your tailbone tucking towards the floor as you come back down. And then bend your knees and walk your hands out to downward dog. Keep your knees bent. Try to lift your sitting bones even higher. Reach up through your hips
And keep your sitting bones reaching up as your heels reach down towards the floor. Good. Okay, come back down to hands and knees. Again, fingertips heavy, patting under the knees as you need. And then support front body to back body and side bend to the right. So right hip and right shoulder trying to get as close together as possible. And then go to the second side, side bending to the left. Just as much as you can. And then go again to the right. And then take a couple cat-cows while side bending to the right. So right hip, right shoulder stay as close together as you can, and then you back bend. And then you round. And as you round, notice, did you lose that side bend? Can you keep your tailbone swinging to the right? And this is hard. So you just do your best and try to kind of wrap your mind around this movement. And notice at your full flexion, full extension, you might have lost the side bend quality, and you just kind of come back into it. And then we'll come through center and side bend to the left to your second side, and then come into the back bend, and then into the spinal flexion. Can you wag your tailbone any more to the left? And it's like I'm kind of just teetering on this cramping quality of my shortening side as I really try to maintain that. So you're just staying with, this is definitely asking some strength, but staying out of that cramping region. Good. Okay, and then back to center. And then from here, just make your way to a comfortable seat. So we've been on our knees for a while. If you want to switch to sitting cross-legged, or you could come and sit in a chair even. You can also do the standing. And we'll just take the spine in a little bit of a circular direction now. So from here, you'll cross your arms, tuck your chin in towards your chest, and round down through your spine. And then once you've rounded fully down through your spine, you'll twist to the left. And then from there, side bend to the left. And just go for a big breath here. And then start to tip. Strengthen the abdominal wall, tipping back, arching to the right. Side bend to the right. Or your second side, rotating to the right. Coming through center. And then rolling back up. Good. And then we'll do one in the other direction. You could switch the cross of your arms just for that challenge of that habit. Tucking your chin in towards your chest, rounding down to the left, side bending, to the right, excuse me, is my second side. Side bending to the right, and just go for a big breath there. And then back bending, staying long through your spine as you come through center and over to the left. And then you'll rotate your breastbone towards the floor, rounding through center and back up. Good. Take a breath. And then we'll do one more round as an option, reaching your hands up and behind your head, butterflying your elbows out as wide as you can. And you'll try to keep your elbows up and back, so kind of up towards the ceiling as we come forward as best you can. Head just gently rests back into your hands. And then from here, we'll curl down. Keep lifting the elbows as you curl down, and then we'll rotate to the left. Lift your elbows and roll open, side bending to the right. Pull your elbows back behind you. Come into the back bend through center and to the right. Side bending to the right. Pull your elbows back behind you even as you rotate your breastbone towards the floor. And then through center and back up. Good. Okay, let's go one more round. To the second side, rounding forward and to the right. Can you pull your elbows back any more? Side bending to the right, coming through center and over to the left. Keep pulling your elbows back behind you as you rotate towards the floor, elbows to the ceiling, through center, elbows to the ceiling, and then back up. Whee, and release. Good. Okay, let's stretch out one more time into downward facing dog. Good. Reaching up and back through your hips, take a breath. Okay, and then we'll release.
Thank you so much for practicing with me today. We got some good spinal wiggles. Then tomorrow we'll add in some more classic asanas to these different ranges of motion in our spine. If you have some time, feel free to take a couple more poses and check out how it feels in your body. Thank you.